You can listen to the Canadian Gothic early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime.
I'll never buy a gift card ever again.
Never again?
Never again.
School staff will have to get out the measuring tape, keeping track in a daily log. Snow piles will have to be between 1.8 and 3 meters high. If the rules can't be followed, kids should wear helmets.
This is the gentleman throwing my package to the door, taking a picture of the package he just threw at my door.
Minutes later, Kushner's security camera shows the driver picking up the package off the porch and then driving away.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Hey, it's Aaron Airport. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
You're saying that as if I refused to wish you a Merry Christmas, but you are still, in spite of that, deciding to be above me and still wish me a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'm going to take the high road. I'm going to wish you a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great New Year. Hell.
But that's not what happened, though. You just came out the gate like that as if that had happened, but that didn't happen because I also, in spite of what you just did to me, want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay, we're even. Let's put that behind us. Let's get on with the show. We're here to keep Canada weird for our 194th time. This is something between a Christmas special and an escape for everyone from the hustle and bustle of Christmas time. Because a lot of people are going to be hearing this on the 26th of December, and at that point, they've probably had more than enough Christmas stuff. And for those people, if they're considering tuning out right now, thinking Aaron and Jordan are just going to rant endlessly about Christmas, don't worry. We got a lot of weird Canadian news stories, but a lot of it does involve Christmas. Before we get into the weird Canadian news stories, though, let me ask you, Aaron, do you have a special drink there?
I do, actually.
Perhaps like eggnog? Is it eggnog?
No, relax.
That would have been a good idea.
It would have been, but eggnog is a very heavy drink to record with, and you do get very phlegmy on it. But I did get as Christmassy as a drink as I could that I had in the house, and so I settled for an herbal tea that I have. It's by the company Stash, and it's an apple cinnamon herbal tea.
That's definitely, that sounds delicious. You're turning over a new leaf with all this herbal tea. I'm in Cape Breton Island here visiting some family, so I have access to Robin's Donuts. I'm actually drinking the tail end of a Robin's coffee right now that I picked up this morning with a breakfast sandwich. But on the side, when push comes to shove, I do have a Diet Pepsi, my old staple for when we need it. But let's enjoy our drinks. Let's get on with the night. I'm excited for the stories tonight. We have some good ones. And the first weird Canadian news story is going to come in the form of a listener recommendation. This is actually a story I had heard nothing about. An anonymous listener voicemail came through, and it opened my eyes to the first of two Santa Claus behaving badly stories we have tonight.
Hey, Jordan and Aaron. I just thought you guys may like to know for your Christmas episode that a Calgary mall Santa recently had to be replaced because he slapped a child while working. The animals are no longer uprising, and it is instead Santa Claus.
That caller may be onto something, but they're just opening the doors to what happened in their voicemail there. I'll call it the Calgary's slappy Santa Claus. I typically turn to you to read the stories, but I'm going to handle this one. I'll get you to handle, in a moment, the statement the mall released.
Okay.
Here's a bit more on this story. In the classic Christmas film Miracle on 34th Street, a child tugging on Santa's beard is a moment of wonder. But in real life, as we found out in Calgary recently, it can go very differently. A mall Santa in Sherwood Park, Alberta, has been removed from his post after slapping a young boy's hand when the child pulled on his beard. The incident happened at the Sherwood Park Mall, just east of Edmonton. The mall issued a public apology to the child and his family, calling the incident completely unacceptable. In a statement posted to Facebook, the mall confirmed the Santa involved has been removed from the program and will no longer be returning. Now they're quoting the mall. Ensuring that each child has a magical Christmas experience is of the utmost importance to us. Cherry Hills Programs, the company that recruits and trains Santas for malls across Canada, said it's aware of the situation and confirmed the Santa was in fact immediately replaced so the families can continue their holiday visits for the remainder of the season. What do you think of this?
It's almost like, maybe when you see a horror movie and maybe there's a zombie-like virus going on and it infects your parents. And your parents are attacking you and trying to kill you. And it's just this notion of these people who you love and cherish turning on you violently and trying to hurt you physically, trying to kill you possibly. And it's very disturbing. And I find this as a child, I'm trying to step into a child's shoes. And as a grown man, that probably hurts because their shoes are small. But I think that it would be really traumatic for a child to go through something like this.
I wonder how hard the child was slapped. So by the sounds of it, the kid reached up, grabbed Santa's beard, and he slapped the kid's hand.
Mm-hmm.
There's different ways that can happen. It can be, you can slap it away from the beard, which is like a strong push, or there can be a slap that creates an audible.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know if there was an audible, because that's a different kind of slap on the hand. Was there any redness on the child's hand, or was the hand just moved away from the beard? I'd like to know a little bit more about this.
Yeah, because this could have been just a instinctual reaction from the Santa Claus, like somebody pulled on the beard and he just kind of
whoa,
like a muscle memory type reaction where he just slaps at the hand and then realizes, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So it could have been that kind of thing. When somebody bumps into you and maybe you quickly elbow them or something.
Yeah.
And then you realize it was a 3-foot tall child and their nose is broken now.
They're bleeding and it's in the news already.
Yeah. And you're spitting on them and you're saying, you deserve it. Don't ever touch me.
It really sucks when you just realize you made a mistake after you hit the kid dressed as Santa and lose your job in the midst of it. It's an awful story. Let's hear a little bit more though. Why don't you read us the mall statement? Because the mall who employed this Santa did in fact release a public statement via Facebook. Let's hear how a mall handles this.
Okay, here is the mall's response. Sherwood Park Mall update. It's labeled. Each holiday season, Sherwood Park Mall contracts Cherry Hill to implement our Santa program, which includes the vetting of all individuals before they meet the children in our community. Ensuring that each child has a magical Christmas experience is of the utmost importance to us. Today, we learned of an incident that was completely unacceptable. We offer our sincere apologies to the little boy and his family. The individual involved in this situation has been removed from our program and will not return. Our Santa experience will pause for this evening and resume around 7 p.m. Thank you for your understanding as we ensure a joyful and respectful holiday experience for all.
Okay, I think that was a pretty good statement. Definitely a statement for the adults and not for the children, because I was kind of curious how they would handle referring to it as a person rather than as Santa Claus, in fact. Because I wonder if some rumors kids know about this, so I wonder if they think Santa slapped some kid. Because this could really shake the foundations of belief.
But this might also, I'm curious how it resonates with other mall Santas. Maybe they're celebrating it. Maybe they're like, it's about time one of us did something because we are being clawed at and climbed upon and disrespected. And nobody ever asks us what we want for Christmas. They only ask what they want for Christmas. And so maybe they're finally silently supporting this mall Santa that went rogue and slapped this kid's hand.
Well, there is a seedy underbelly to Santa Clauses, as we'll hear in tonight's episode. As I said, this isn't the last Santa behaving badly story we're going to have tonight. But the whole mall Santa thing, I think it's an interesting position that it puts Santa in to actually show up and interact with children. I bet you there's a lot more stories relating to mall Santas than what make the news. I imagine there is a deliberate cover-up of some of these stories just because of what it would do to the community if all of the bad Santa Claus stories got out there. I did notice a mall in Halifax in a community called Bedford. What they have at the mall is you don't sit down and meet Santa. They have the Grinch, and you sit down and meet the Grinch. And I actually thought that was a better idea.
Oh, why is that better?
I think it's just interesting.
Because the standards are lower?
The standards are lower. If you behave badly, it's not going to affect kids. They're like, of course, like the Grinch is such a prick. Did you know that the word prize in French is spelled Prix? So if you want to call someone a prick, you can call them a French prize. But it's like if the Grinch did something awful, it's not going to affect anything. It's what's expected. But I think the issue with having the Grinch there is when the kids go up and sit with the Grinch, what do they say to him?
Yeah, it's like, what do you want to take from me this Christmas? Like,
but maybe it could be a good opportunity for the kids to sit. Each kid individually would sit down with the Grinch for a minute and try to convince him like why Christmas is special. Like something like that could be interesting.
yeah. Why don't they just have a AI generated Santa Claus?
Oh God, don't give them ideas. That's coming. You know it is.
Yeah, like a hologram, a Santa Claus
hologram,
hologram.
yeah.
You go up and you know, before they go in, they enter in the child's name, what they want for Christmas, and Santa Claus is just like, "Hello, Timmy. Oh, I understand. I read in your letter that you want a Grinch to do Christmas next year for Christmas."
AI would be a good fix for that for this situation. I think it's coming, but I'm just recalling a prior story we had in a Tesla vehicle where the in-vehicle AI tried to get the child to send nudes to the AI. So maybe let's give it a couple of years. We'll stick with the maybe drunk, maybe sober mall Santas for now. One last thing about this. Do you think he slapped the beard because it was a fake beard and he didn't want to reveal his true identity? And if so, do you think a prerequisite for being a mall Santa is a natural beard?
Well, the natural beard is very difficult. You're going to deplete your stock of mall Santas down to almost a handful. So you're basically, it has to be somebody older. It has to be somebody who can grow a full white beard. Doesn't have to be a super long beard, but it does have to be fully white. They could dye it, I guess, but it certainly complicates hiring for that job.
Yeah, it would create an issue. But then again, there are less malls now than there used to be. I think if they can't get a Santa with a full natural beard without a criminal record, that's sober to sit down with the children. I'd say the Grinches is maybe a better idea, just because you could put the Grinch in a full body costume. But this is a discussion for another day. We may have to we'll continue this conversation next Christmas. Let's take our first break. When we get back, we're going to get to the first duo of stories. This duo will include a Santa behaving badly, but it's going to have another porch pirate, our second, I think, in as many weeks. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we'll have some dumb Canadian crime stories. Handsome Aaron Airport. I don't want to do two back-to-back bad Santa stories. If we do, we may be accused of slandering Mr. Claus. Let's break it up a little bit. I want to tell you about another porch pirate story. This is something that is very common this time of year. A lot of people are buying packages, stuff is getting delivered, and people who wish to do harm are taking said packages and running off with them. We recently heard about a skip the dishes delivering porch pirate in Calgary. Well, it seems an Amazon delivery driver heard that story and said, "Hold my eggnog."
Sandy Kushner loves Christmas.
I did a lot of Amazon shopping this year.
But there'll be one gift
A makeup product.
missing from under her tree on the 25th.
It was just a little compact for my daughter.
An Amazon purchase from third-party seller Hercules Geek, shipped via Ascendia and shown as delivered in her Amazon account orders on Sunday, December 14th.
It said it had been delivered. So I went through everything and I couldn't find anything.
But when the Kelowna woman went through her security cam footage, she discovered why.
This is the gentleman throwing my package to the door, taking a picture of the package he just threw at my door.
And if that cavalier Christmas package delivery wasn't bad enough, minutes later, Kushner's security camera shows the driver returning, picking up the package off the porch, and then driving away.
My initial reaction was that the package was stolen by the driver. When I kind of put it out there to other people, they then questioned me going, well, maybe he dropped it off and it was the wrong address.
Global contacted Ascendia to see if there was some sort of mix-up. However, we didn't receive a reply in time for air.
Dear Sandy,
Kushner contacted Hercules Geek
we are sorry for the situation.
and did receive a full refund, but has yet to hear any explanation or accountability. So she's sending everyone a reminder, a sort of PSA during peak porch pirate season.
To make sure that they're actually looking at their packages, looking at the date they're delivered, and confirming that they received them.
Kushner taking it all in stride, saying she's never had problems like this before with Amazon deliveries. So she won't let whatever occurred with her package ruin her holidays.
This news clip we just listened to left some kind of question about was it a theft or maybe some misunderstanding. It seems like this poor woman in Kelowna wasn't able to get an answer, but I'm leaning heavily towards theft. I'm calling it an inside job porch pirate.
Yeah, I believe it was a theft as well. It certainly looks that way. I think the logic that the delivery driver is trying to enact here is that he figures that if he has the picture of the delivered package on the step, then he's then in the clear. So then he walks away, turns around, comes back, steals the package. If he gets blamed for it, he's like, no, I delivered it. Look, the picture is there. The paper trail is there of the delivery occurring. That would have been someone else. But again, it always boils down to these Ring doorbells, these Nest cameras, these all these home security options that people have. Like if you're at somebody's front door, you're being videotaped, you're being recorded, you're whatever.
You would think, right? What do you think the market share is? Like what percentage of homes in Canada have those, like some kind of video surveillance? And when I just say what percentage of homes, what I should have said is what percentage of Canadians who order stuff online and get it delivered would have video surveillance at their front door? Because the type of person who's on Amazon clicking the buttons and getting stuff delivered to them are also the type of person who would embrace the technology of a video doorbell.
I agree, yeah. So I would think the percentage would be quite high of people who order online who also have Ring doorbells or security cameras. So
Or equivalent.
Yeah.
In this case, like I hear your theory, and I think I can maybe add to it a little bit to how this could happen, is the person who ordered this, who had been victimized by this alleged inside job porch pirate, they didn't have a video doorbell. They had a traditional doorbell, but above their door, kind of on the siding of their house, there was a camera installed there pointing down at the door. So a part of me wonders if the driver walked up, chucked the package, took a quick look and said, yep, that's an old school doorbell that doesn't record me, and then came back and grabbed the package, not realizing that the camera was installed a little bit above the door and their bad actions, their ill deeds were caught on camera. That could be it.
I think you're right. I think that's the entire package of the theft. So
Solved,
stamp it, file it away.
Only things that I want to add to this segment of the show is, one, in the year 2025, I think everyone should have a video doorbell. It comes in handy in so many ways. If you're out somewhere and there's a weirdo at your door trying to sell you something, you can see them. If packages are delivered, you have it on video. If someone is sneaking around your property, there's a pretty good chance you'll catch it. I feel like I had a home security system that I used to pay like $30 a month for or something. It monitored my windows and doors and motion detectors and all this stuff. The amount of comfort that gave me when I was away from my home pales in comparison to the comfort I get from my video doorbell system, where I can just look at my phone and see in high definition what's happening right now. And I have cameras on both sides, like at both doors of my home. I have cameras inside, one that just looks at my backyard. And it's like I couldn't imagine not having it. And for how little that costs, let this be an ad right now for people out there. Go get video doorbells if you don't have them. It makes you feel better, and maybe you'll catch something crazy like a Amazon driver grabbing your stuff.
Yeah. What's common as well with these types of circumstances where whether it's someone who works for Uber Eats or works for one of these delivery companies, these are third-party companies or individuals. So they're not employees directly of the company that is using them to deliver the items. So I find the responsibility is always passed along to, like, so there's nothing we can do about it. That's a third party that we contract out to do these deliveries, or Uber Eats, those are just contractors that don't work directly for us. So there's nothing we can do. So that's the way the systems are set up, so that it feels impossible to get proper justice when you have direct, clear as day footage of somebody delivering for that company, stealing from you, and there's still nothing you can do.
Yeah, and that's very relevant with this story because she bought, this Kelowna woman, she bought the package or the item through Amazon, but it was through a third-party seller. So she was buying it from somebody who was selling it through Amazon's system, so she wasn't buying it directly from Amazon. Then Amazon's delivery people didn't deliver it. Some third party called Ascendia did the delivery. But I don't think people should give Amazon a pass. I think, in my mind, she bought it from Amazon and an Amazon delivery driver delivered it to her. And I think it falls back on Amazon, because if they're going to allow random people to sell stuff on their platform and they're going to allow these sketchy delivery companies to deliver their stuff, they need to be able to take the heat when things don't go right. And if they can't handle the heat, then maybe they should hold these random companies and sellers accountable. And I think that's what happens here. I think this news report, I don't think should have mentioned it was a third-party seller, and it shouldn't have mentioned this Ascendia company. It should be, I think this should fall back on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon should investigate it. Amazon has the contacts of these third parties, so they have the footage. You know, the claim is submitted. Amazon looks into it and reprimands these third parties and says, you can't, unless you fire that individual or punish that individual, you can't operate through our website anymore.
I like that. Solved.
File it.
And we kind of came up with a settlement as well. You're welcome, Amazon. Let's move on to the next one. We're ready to jump back into Santa. I'm forgetting what time of year it is. This next one, I couldn't find a good video or audio coverage of this story, so we're just going to read the short article. I'll get you to handle this one, but this is a crazy story, so read it carefully and slowly, and everyone should hang off of every one of Handsome Aaron Airport's words, because this is a big one.
All right.
Maybe the story of the night.
So Santa and elves rob a shop in Montreal.
Dun, dun, dun.
Montreal police are investigating a theft at a grocery store that unfolded in a very unusual way this week. On Monday evening, several dozen people dressed as Santa Claus and about 40 dressed as elves allegedly entered a Metro grocery store on Laurier Avenue and took about $3,000 worth of food. But this wasn't your typical thieves in disguise crime. The group behind the action, who calls themselves the Robins of Alleys, explained their motivation in a statement titled, "When Hunger Justifies the Means." In the online statement, the group criticized large grocery chains, saying inflation has made it increasingly difficult for people to afford food while corporate profits continue to rise. They described their actions as a political call to action against rising grocery prices and that the food will be distributed to people in need across Montreal. Photos later shared online show the food placed in a public square at the base of a Christmas tree. Montreal police say they are investigating the incident as a theft under $5,000, and as of now, no arrests have been made.
So this is basically a group of Robin Hoods, but instead of being dressed as Robin Hoods, they were dressed as Santa and his elves. So they kind of co-opted the Christmas spirit and iconography into a Robin Hood story, which I think is kind of cool. I'm not going to support this kind of vigilante political crime stuff, but when I heard that a bunch of Santa Claus and elves robbed a store, this is not what I was thinking was happening.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. It's really complicated. I'm sure this was the debate that was going on when Robin Hood was stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, as we were told he did. So I don't know how to feel about this. I'm conflicted, and I totally support the motivation of these individuals to want to do this. The cause that they were doing it for, I completely believe in. Grocery store and prices have gone out of control. It's so hard to afford just regular food, everyday items. It's just getting really hard out
crazy.
there. Like, it's just bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
And yet, grocery stores, these mega companies, are turning record profits. They're, even when inflation slows, they're not bringing the prices back down. They're keeping the prices up. In fact, they're even jacking them up a little bit more. So
Yeah. I'm surprised there isn't more political activism or whatever kind of activism happening surrounding food prices, because it is out of control. If you're not a family with two incomes, like if you're people with kids, you need two incomes to just be able to afford the essentials. Things like, eggs, milk, breakfast cereals, bread, just the basic stuff, let alone getting into like beef and chicken and stuff if you eat meat. It is so expensive. Fresh food is unaffordable, I believe, to someone with like if you're working a minimum wage job, I don't know how you could possibly afford to feed yourself, let alone a full family. It's nuts out there. So I think like political activism surrounding that is worthwhile. My issues with this one though is for one, it is a crime. They went in and stole it. That's not right. And the second is, I don't know about using the iconography of Santa Claus and the elves for something that someone dressed as Robin Hood should be doing.
Right. So you would support this if they were all dressed as Robin Hood?
I think it would be a more clear message, because if when you see Santa Claus and his elves went in the store and stole a bunch of stuff and then put it under a Christmas tree, that's not the right storyline for Santa. Santa and his elves would have made this stuff at the North Pole and delivered it. Robin Hood is the one who would have stole it and gave it. So I just think like it's a bit confusing. You kind of have to read their statement to understand their motivation and be like, oh, okay, they're doing Robin Hood, but with Santa and his elves.
Right. I see your point, and you know what? You've convinced me that they should have done that. It would have been much clearer right off the top that, hey, we're stealing from the greedy grocery stores. We're going to bring this food to the poor and the people who need it. And I guess it was more the time of year that they were doing it that really kind of caused them to ultimately decide, because it's probably really difficult to come across 40 Robin Hood costumes.
That's true.
As opposed to just getting some, going to the dollar store and getting some elf costumes for $5.
Yeah, well, these costumes look pretty good. You can see photos of this incident online, and it was decent costumes. But there maybe could have been other ways that didn't involve breaking the law that they could have got their point across. What if Santa and two elves were outside of the grocery store dressed in their costumes, but their costumes were a little dirty and grubby, and they were begging for money with signs, saying something about the price of food, and that, in the North Pole, they're having a hard time making the toys because they can't eat. And, I think there's maybe other ways to do it that doesn't result in someone maybe getting charged. If the police go as far as to find the people and prosecute them, which I don't think they will.
No.
I think this is going to end here.
But if this is the only way, and it's unfortunate to say this, but this is the only way that you're going to get media attention, is if you turn the dial up. So if you were just, like you suggested, two grubby Santa Clauses outside and begging for money because they can't afford food anymore, that's not going to make national news. That's not going to spread around on social media.
Yeah.
So in order to get proper attention to, again, the point is to put a spotlight on the issue, you got to raise the bar, you got to turn the heat up. So
and they did. This was covered on CNN. This was covered far and wide. People around the world who have never heard of Montreal or Quebec have heard about this story. So yeah, mission accomplished. I just hope that the message gets out that it's Santa and his elves were actually doing a Robin Hood thing. Like, I worry that the salacious appearance of Santa and the elves robbing a store will get in the way of their message getting through. But I think given what they wanted to do, I think they probably achieved it.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. So in terms of, hopefully they kind of get away with it, and it seems like they were doing a good thing. It's, again, stealing is technically wrong. So what are we going to say about it?
That's true. Before we get to our next break and our next set of stories, let me just ask you, given the high price of food, is there an item that you find is like a really good deal that when you're at the grocery store, you feel like you're actually robbing them because you're buying this one item that's so cheap?
Yeah, rotisserie chickens.
You've talked about this on the show before.
I buy them all the time because they are...
And you can stretch them out, right?
Stretch them
in
out,
a couple days.
Yeah, no, they're great.
Tell me what you do with a rotisserie chicken.
Well, this is really personal, but... Well, when I open it up, I start eating it right away with my bare hands. But then I stop. And then I like to cut it up and put it in wraps and put it in salads. And that's mostly how I eat it.
You ever chuck a little piece to your cat, Ken Tiggs?
No. No, I would never feed him from the food that I eat. He gets his own quite elaborate wet food that has real pieces of, chicken in it. So he eats well.
Okay. If I had to say my food item that I think is just a shockingly low price, I'm going to say bananas. I love bananas, and I just don't get why, like, inflation has hit every product except bananas. I feel like bananas cost the same now as they did when I was a kid. If you showed up at the grocery store with a backpack, like, you could fill the thing with bananas, and it would cost you like $4.50 or something. They're dirt cheap, and I can do so much with a banana. I'm not afraid to put peanut butter and banana on a sandwich. I love that. I make wraps with peanut butter and banana. I'll just walk down the street with a banana. It's so portable and easy to use. Its packaging is compostable. It fits in your pocket just fine. And I'll tell you what, my dog Penny loves bananas, and there's not a lot cuter than seeing, like, I break off a chunk of the banana and chuck it, and she catches it. But a dog's teeth and shape of mouth just isn't great for chewing a banana. So it's this big, complicated, messy thing when she has a banana, but she does like it. But all that to say, when I buy bananas, I feel like, am I getting away with something here?
No. It's legal. Bananas are legal. You're okay.
Okay, good. Let's take our second and final break. When we come back, we have two Canadian what the frig stories. One of them does involve gift cards, and my favorite thing to do this time of year is rant about how much I hate gift cards. We're definitely going to be doing that tonight, but we'll get into that after this final break. Handsome Aaron Airport. As much as you, I like having fun. I like having a good time, and I like sledding down hills on toboggans. Is that something you enjoy?
Oh, I haven't done it in a really long time, but every time I remember doing it, I remember really enjoying it. You go fast. It's exciting. It's a chance to... You don't have to be athletic to participate in this makeshift sport.
It's a sport. I like making little jumps and hitting the jumps and going flying, because it's like with snowsuits and snow pants and all that stuff, and gloves and hats, you're kind of already padded, so you can sort of like wreck yourself going down a hill, and usually you aren't going to get that hurt, and you're usually landing on snow as well. Do you know what I mean by a GT snow racer?
Of course I do. Okay. Yeah, I've gone insanely fast down hills on those many times. But I remember the crazy carpets. Do you remember those?
Just like the sheet of like heavy kind of
It was just plastic? It was like a plastic sheet with like two little holes cut out at the top that you could grab onto and then bend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you go flying down on those.
Not a lot of protection. That's just the cheapest possible thing that can send you down the hill as fast as possible is a crazy carpet. What I reference the GTs because when I think of the crazy stuff we used to do on hills, and we did it on some pretty big hills, we were usually on GTs, which are kind of like think of like a skidoo for kids without a motor. It has one ski on the front, then two long skis on the side with a metal frame that holds the whole thing together. There's a steering wheel and a seat made of hard plastic. When we were kids in the 80s, the GTs were like a heavy metal frame. So if you went flying off of a jump or something and that thing landed on top of you, it could do some damage. And we used to fly down hills. In fact, I remember my dad, he would sand the skis down a little bit. Because they'd get scratched up, he would like polish it. And I think he may have even put some kind of like oil or wax or something on it to help us go extra fast, kind of like that scene in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We did that. We had lots of fun on hills, and we survived. But all this is an introduction to a story about something happening in Quebec that is raising a lot of eyebrows, including my own. What many Canadians remember as a no-rules winter rite of passage is now at the center of a very modern debate in Quebec. New safety guidelines for schoolyard snow piles have some people asking whether snow hills on school grounds need regulation. Here's the story of the Great Quebec Snowbank Safety Debate.
A winter tradition in many Canadian schoolyards, jumping, sliding, and rolling down big mounds of snow. But now some Quebec schools are being encouraged to follow a long list of safety rules, including possibly wearing helmets.
The people who are in fear are the adults. That's the problem.
I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think kids are kids. Playing in the snow is normal.
The guidelines, issued to dozens of school districts, come from a group insurance association aiming to avoid complaints from parents and potential lawsuits. School staff will have to get out the measuring tape, keeping track in a daily log. Snow piles will have to be between 1.8 and 3 meters high, with a grade of about 25%. If the rules can't be followed, kids should wear helmets. This school district spokesperson says her schools plan to follow the guidelines. If hills don't comply, they will be closed or made smaller so students can still have fun.
Je trouve ça un petit peu exagéré.
But Quebec's premier weighing in, arguing the idea of kids wearing helmets in the schoolyard is excessive.
I'm a bit concerned in terms of trying to be overly prescriptive around how we provide those kinds of environments.
The Canadian Pediatric Society says outdoor risky play is an essential part of childhood development. And its 2024 report found taking chances and even getting hurt to be key to kids' mental, physical, and social well-being. There are no consequences if schools don't implement the rules, many trying to strike a balance, keeping kids safe while letting a little bit of a tumble still be part of the fun.
We set that up talking about like tobogganing and sledding and crazy carpets and everything else. This isn't even regulation of that sort of outdoor play. This is just looking at, like, on school grounds, kids getting on their butts and sliding down a little hill. It's suggested that those hills be measured and logged, and if they don't meet specific requirements, the children should be wearing helmets if they want to go on them. And yeah, this seems as something that is never going to work.
No, I agree. And I'm just thinking, with everything that teachers have to deal with in the classrooms these days, now they have to go out and measure snowbanks, and then police who plays on them. And then, I mean, kids aren't bringing helmets to school with them. So is the school going to provide helmets? And this is just snowballing into something that's way more complicated than it needs to be. And this is a situation where insurance companies are stepping in and just completely buzz-killing on winter for these kids.
Yeah, I like the idea that if the snowbanks don't meet the regulations, they will close the snowbanks. How does a school close a snowbank? Maybe they put a little sign like, hey, kids, don't climb this awesome snowbank and slide down it. It is not going to work. The whole like helmet thing, I bet you those, if you interviewed a bunch of teachers here on Keep Canada Weird, I bet you they would say they'd be fortunate if the kids showed up with snow pants and jackets, let alone helmets. Like, that's not going to happen. And yeah, as you said,
and I'm just picturing the kids, like the teacher measuring the snowbank, and we're like, no, got to shut it down. And then a big bulldozer coming over, and just as the kids are all standing, watching, crying, as they're just bulldozing this like snowbank over and flattening it, and then the kids just standing around like looking at each other like, what is going on?
They've all lost their minds, and I think they have lost their minds. There's this idea that I've been thinking about a lot lately as a parent myself. I want to say, though, I do hear Ken Tiggs flipping in the background. What's going on with your cat?
I don't know. Every now and then, like, if I'm not paying attention to him enough, like, you know, I've been in here in the room with you recording, and he was napping, but then he got up and he's wandering around, and he just wants me either to play with him or feed him more or whatever. So now he's just...
Those are probably only the only two things, really.
That is the only two things. Yeah, absolutely. So...
Anyway, as I was saying, is what this story is reminding me of, and something I've been thinking about a lot lately as a parent of now a teenager, is in the year 2025, there's this belief that parents or adults or society is overprotective of children in the real world and far underprotective of them in the digital world or online. And this is a great example of that. If we applied some of what's being done to protect children in the real world, and we did that same sort of thing online, I think overall the end result would be a safer place for children. Because I think like on a hill, yeah, you may get a kid or two bump their knee or crack their head, but I feel like the things that are really problematic for children now in the long term is stuff that's happening online.
Yeah, and kids need to bump their knees and hit their heads as they're growing up. It teaches them valuable lessons, and it teaches them boundaries, and it teaches them all types of things. So it's like, if you're taking that away and just wrapping them in bubble wrap for the rest of their lives, it just creates complete assholes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Let's move on from this. Shame on you, Quebec, and children of Quebec. If you see a good snow hill, I'd say slide down it on your butt. Chances are nothing's going to happen. Even if it's too steep, all the better.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the final story of the night. This is probably going to lead to me ranting about gift cards. That's something I cannot stand. And this time of year, everybody's just going out and buying gift cards, and it makes me completely insane. I'll call this segment, Gift Cards Are Worse Than Pointless. A Windsor man says a well-intentioned holiday gesture turned into a lesson in scamming after hundreds of dollars in gift cards vanished overnight. What should have been a simple thank you gift for a senior's card game became a warning about a growing and sneaky retail scam. Again, here is why gift cards are worse than pointless.
Yeah, I felt like a total idiot. It's like I'm the one who stole the money. I'm not just the only person that they're doing this to. If they can do it to those cards, who says that he wasn't draining funds out of other cards they had on that same rack?
66-year-old Mark Duguay says the cards were meant to be presents for the organizers of his euchre club. The money he put on the cards was collected from the club's members. After all 5 recipients reported to him that their cards were empty, Duguay tried to get a refund from the place where he bought the cards, a Dollarama location. He was denied. Dollarama told CBC Windsor that the company has several store measures to prevent gift card fraud, but the company's ability is limited once the gift card leaves store premises, and issues related to Tim Hortons cards should be referred to Tim Hortons.
They're saying I have no recourse. I'll never buy a gift card ever again.
Never again?
Never again.
Unfortunately, Dugay's experience isn't unique. Jennifer Matthews of the Better Business Bureau for Western Ontario says it's known as gift card draining, and the Bureau receives complaints about it regularly. Scammers visit stores to obtain information from the cards, then return them to the racks. The cards are activated when a customer puts money in the cards. Software bots immediately scoop the card's value. Matthews says store-bought gift cards should always be checked before loading for signs of tampering with a protective strip on the back.
First fact to discuss about that story is this was something related to a gift for a euchre club. I've never heard of this. I had no idea what it was. I guess that's some kind of card game. Do you recognize that word?
Oh, okay. I don't recognize it. In fact, I think it's made up. And yeah, I don't know why this guy would make up a club, a completely fictitious club, and then use it as an excuse to go on about his gift card problems.
Maybe he's just a political activist like that Santa and the elves. This is nothing new to us. We've been on the beat of scams that are proliferating across Canada. The gift card skimming and the various gift card scams. Yeah, it's very common. What's happening here at a lot of times is like when you go in a store and the gift cards are like kind of on display where you can touch them, they're not worth anything till they're activated. Someone goes into a store and they just take a handful of the unactivated gift cards, steal them, bring them home. They open them up. They take carefully open them up, take the codes from them all, and then put a new like fake scratch off thing over it, seal it back up, walk into the store and put them all back on the shelves. That's what's happening. And then when someone buys the gift cards, the person who has the code and all this stuff that did this scam, they just take your money, transfer it or spend it or whatever they do. And it's very easy. Like the only thing protecting your gift cards typically is like this sketchy little like cardboard or paper kind of box that the thing is sealed in. And that's very easy to tamper with. So I'm not surprised this happens. I think the question comes down to who should be responsible. In this case, the guy bought Tim Hortons cards from Dollarama. Who do you think should be responsible for this?
Ultimately, if you're selling a product in your store, somebody purchases that product at full price and then takes it home and it doesn't work and it's empty, then you're responsible. So if you can't...
As the
retailer, yeah. So whether you bought it at Walmart or you bought it at Shoppers Drug Mart or Dollarama or wherever you bought the gift card at, and they are ultimately responsible because they're selling you a product and you're taking your money. So they can't take your money when there's nothing on the card, no matter how that happens. So if they're going to sell these cards, they need to make sure that they're able to ensure that that card is fully loaded before it leaves the store with the customer.
That's a good point. And I guess like to just make this consideration even easier. Let's say you went into the store and you bought a coffee maker, and when you got home, the box containing the coffee maker was empty. Would you be mad at the company that made the coffee maker, or would you go back to the retailer and explain to them what happened? And yeah, I think this it kind of comes down to a lot of the same ideas we had when we were talking about the Amazon packages and stuff with the outsourcing of the delivery drivers. I think if the retailer is going to sell the gift cards, you're making the deal with the retailer, not with the company on the gift card like Tim Hortons. So I think that their complaint should be with Dollarama because they bought a faulty item and they want to return it or whatever. And if those gift cards are easily scammed and tampered with and stuff, then maybe Dollarama needs to take that up with Tim Hortons and maybe not sell those to their clients anymore. Like I think I agree with you. It should fall on the retailer selling it. And if they can't make it work, then they shouldn't be selling them.
I agree. They shouldn't be selling them if they can't guarantee the product. That was always the thing over the years, is that products were guaranteed. They're not anymore. Nobody wants to take on any liability anymore. We saw that with the snow hill story we just talked about.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to take liability of anything, so nobody is allowed to do anything. And nobody is allowed to complain, and we just have to sit here and just take it now. And that is what's happening because, we sold you that. We took all your money for it, and, it was empty? Oh, well, yeah, that scam's been going around. You just not much you can do about that.
Yeah, you'll have to talk to Tim Hortons about that.
Yeah, and then they'll tell you to talk to somebody else, and they'll say, well, we get those cards done by a third-party company, so we're not liable or responsible for any issues that stems from that company. You'll have to talk to them, and then they'll tell you to talk to Tim Hortons, and then...
It all boils down to me that gift cards are pointless. I often say that they're just that they're just an inconvenient version of cash. And I say inconvenient because they're like cash and they're as easily stolen as cash, but it's cash that only works at one specific place. And it's also cash that you don't always get change for. If I gave you right now a $50 Robin's Donuts gift card, you'd probably end up spending like $48 on it, if that, and the rest of it would just get like thrown away. So there's like a tip built in for the retailer. If I gave you cash, you would have that change left over, or you could go to another coffee shop that is your preference. And that's my issue with gift cards. What's the problem with giving someone a Christmas card that says, I hope you have a great Christmas and a happy new year, and putting a $50 bill in there rather than a $50 gift card for the store that you think that person's going to want to go to?
I feel that gift cards, in theory, are very good if it's the right gift card. So for my mom, and this will air after Christmas, so we don't have to worry about spoiling any surprises for her. But a lot of years I do often, and this year included, I one of the gifts I get her is a gift card to Cineplex.
Okay. Which, for people who are unfamiliar, that's a movie theater chain in Canada.
Yeah. So if you're going to see movies, that's the place you're going to. So she loves to go to the movies, and she is going to be going to the movies a bunch in 2026. So I do like getting her a Cineplex gift card because it's like, I know you like going to the movies. Here's to get you started in 2026, see some films on me. And it does personalize the giving of the money a bit better, where if you're a movie buff and you love going to the movies and somebody gets you a movie gift card, then it's like, oh yeah, that is more personal because that is something about me that you know about, that I like movies. But there are some gift cards that are just like a Visa gift card or like a whatever, that it's not really personal. It's just, here's some money on a card. Yeah, at that point in time, you might as well just give them straight up cash. But gift cards can, in theory, work really well to help personalize the gift a little bit better.
Maybe.
So I do.
Let me just talk on behalf of Hallmark. So Hallmark is a company that makes cards, greeting cards and Christmas cards and birthday cards and everything else. What if you took, I don't know, a $50 bill, you stuck it inside a Hallmark card that's like, "Dear Mom, you're amazing," and you wrote inside the card in that little white spot at the bottom, "Mom, here's $50. I hope there's a lot of good movies playing in 2026 that you can go see." That personalizes it, right?
Yeah.
And the money you would spend on the card is like the greeting card or whatever from Hallmark or whoever is probably about equal to how much money will remain on that card when your mom tosses it, or how much risk she's exposed to from fraud and all this other horrible stuff, or just losing the gift card, unlike she would with a $50 bill likely.
It's a little better, but it's still not quite as good. And what if my mom is a drug addict? And I don't want her spending that cash on heroin. And I want her going to the movies with that card. So I want that money spent on movies. So
yeah,
how do you...
Maybe that is like the one good reason for gift cards, is to give gifts to someone you know and love that you don't trust or that has no self-control.
Yeah.
Like I would give you cash, but I know you would be at the casino. So here is a gift card for the movies, and you have to go see a movie. I know I'm protecting you from yourself by not giving you something. I know this is inconvenient. There's a risk you could be scammed or lose it, but that's not nearly as high as the risk that you would take a $50 bill to the casino and do something antisocial with it.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. And I still think, not all of the time, but some of the time, a gift card can be a very effective way to give someone something.
Okay. I would like to hear from the Keep Canada Weird listeners on their thoughts on gift cards. Let me ask the listeners, have you ever seen someone open like a card or a gift and see a gift card in there and have their eyes just like water, like swell up with tears and emotion?
No, not the way you are leading. You are leading the listener to the way that question is structured.
Okay, yeah.
You're forcing them to react a certain way. Of course, nobody has opened up a gift card and their eyes watered.
Okay.
My point is that gift cards aren't always effective, but sometimes they can be a very effective and appropriate gift to give somebody in the right circumstances.
Yeah, for the addict in your life. Okay. I'll accept that.
Which is my mother.
Well, I think we've done enough here. We've kept Canada weird. We were a little Christmassy. We talked about tobogganing. We managed to bash gift cards and Amazon deliveries. And we even had a side order of complaints about food prices here. So I think we've done our work. Anything else we got to do here, Aaron? Have we kept Canada weird?
We have. And the only thing left to do is to have a Merry Christmas, because Today, as we're recording, is Christmas Eve.
That's right. People on the premium feed will hear this episode Christmas Day. They'll wake up first thing in the morning and they'll open up their phone and listen.
Yeah, the whole family will gather around the tree listening to Keep Canada Weird before they open up their gifts.
And for everyone else, they'll hear it on Friday, which is that Boxing Day, the day after Christmas?
Yeah.
We don't have time to get into this, and I know I could Google the answer, but I like to think it's called Boxing Day because there's just so many boxes left around from Christmas, and that's just a day that you just deal with all the wrapping paper and boxes. But yeah, a lot of people will be hearing this on Boxing Day, but I think our discussion surrounding Santa Claus behaving badly and other Christmas gift-giving stuff will still be relevant even on Boxing Day.
I agree.
Well, there, we're done. Everyone in Keep Canada Weird Nation, every Keep Canada Weird correspondent, every soldier in the Keep Canada Weird Army, it's been a blast celebrating Christmas with you. I hope you have a great time with your family. And Aaron and I look forward to keeping Canada weird with you in the new year.
I agree with that as well.
Do you want a customized message, or do you just want to send them all gift cards, something meaningful like that?
Yeah, everybody is getting a Cineplex gift card this year in the Keep Canada Weird Army. So... I want to wish all the Keep Canada Weird listeners a very happy holidays and hope they enjoy all their festivities. And Ken, Tiggs, and I will be thinking about them in our hearts.
Beautiful. Handsome Aaron Airport. Actually, this is our last episode of the year. So Handsome Airport, until next year.
Jordan Bus Stop Backhoe Bonaparte, until next year.
I'm just going to keep it simple and I'll say it again. I hope you have a fantastic holiday and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, and Jordan, until next year, the same rule applies to children with mall Santas that applies to you. Touch my beard, you will get slapped.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. Our premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes. But the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
And keep Canada weird. Please keep Canada weird.